Hello and welcome to all of you. You're watching Tech24. I'm Julia Seeger. In this edition, from hackathons to startup accelerators, all regions in the world were swift to react and organize their tech sector to respond to the COVID-19 crisis. It was urgent and critical, but it was also an opportunity. In this edition, we asked Dhananjay Khatalkar whether it has enabled Europe to get back on the tech map and start challenging the United States and China again. And in Test 24, Dhananjay Khatalkar will test a mask by the French startup AirPure, and he'll tell us how the physics of sneezing is advancing, helping epidemiologists revise official WHO guidelines. A group of European tech companies has joined forces to create a coronavirus-focused startup accelerator in Berlin to help fight the virus, but also to prepare for what lies ahead. For now, the Future Perfect Accelerator sponsors 4 different startups, including one that connects researchers with people who are willing to take part in clinical trials, and another one that lets young people chat with social workers. Solange Mougin has the story.
It's matchmaking, but what is sought after is not love, but a coronavirus clinical trial and the dream of a cure. On this platform, which is called Ancora, COVID-19 patients fill out questionnaires. Their answers will help them be placed with nearby clinical trials. Thanks to algorithms, Ancora can help researchers save a massive amount of time.
We have trials, I think, in 79 countries as of today. Even under the best of circumstances, recruiting patients is hard, and right now they need to find 500,000 plus patients to actually do this research. And only through doing this kind of research, we're able to know actually the best ways of treating the infection and preventing it from becoming worse in the future.
There are no fewer than 700 clinical trials registered on the platform, which was able to extend its reach globally, thanks to a startup accelerator called the Future Perfect, which is also currently helping 3 other startups to combat the coronavirus and its effects. Lockdowns, for example, saw a rapid rise in domestic violence. Many helplines do exist in Germany, but few rely on chat messaging. So 18-year-old Julius de Gruyter co-founded a service within WhatsApp. It lets people write in for help and get in contact with social workers.
You can get help without having to use your voice, because in flats with small living space, you can't always speak. Also, many young people are more used to chatting with their friends, and then it's more normal to not call, but rather to write.
A group of German technology companies started the Future Perfect Accelerator under a program called Healthy Together. Their goal, to find innovative, useful ways of combating the pandemic. Selected out of hundreds of applicants, the initial round of 4 sponsored projects will receive €20,000 and 6 weeks of mentoring support.
A movement dubbed Hack the Crisis was created in Estonia mid-March. It first took the form of a 6-hour hackathon to try to provide a European solution to the COVID-19 crisis. But it was such a success that very quickly new branches of the movement started springing up throughout the world. And here in France, 2 student organizations, Genius Global and the Tech Student Association, took the lead to create this time a 48-hour hackathon here in the center of Paris. Well, to speak more about it, I'm joined by Julie Leroy, the Vice President of Genius Global. Thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Hi, Julia.
So, Julie, tell us more about this hackathon that you created.
So it all started for us 1 month ago at the beginning of the lockdown in France. Our 2 student societies specializing in entrepreneurship and innovation shared the same vision. We wanted to make an impact on the current situation, so we created Let's Fight Coronavirus Geniusly to act now and match startup and talents to help them develop their projects for ending the crisis. We felt that something big was happening and that we could go further. What if we gather all these talents, put them in touch with startup ecosystem, and help them develop new projects in the key areas impacted by the health crisis? That's when we thought about launching our hackathon. It's a 48-hour event where we come from an idea to a prototype. We federated about 20 volunteers to help us develop this project. And we contacted Hack the Crisis Global Movement. They gave us some advice and guidelines, and we decided to launch Hack the Crisis France by adding our personal touch and by mixing some work and fun activities to stay in a positive mind. At the end, thousands of people were gathered virtually, and it only showed us how collective energy can lead to great projects and how we are more connected than ever through solidarity, technology, and a shared vision.
Julie, I said it earlier, you're the Vice President of Genius Global. So what are some of your projects in the future?
So Genius Global is the largest community of student entrepreneurial societies in France that bring together business school, engineering school, universities, and design schools. Our mission is to educate students to entrepreneurship and startup culture, federate all the student entrepreneurial ecosystem, and help students build startups. This year, our objective was to strengthen the link between our communities and encourage exchange between them. We organize many events during the year, like Startup Weekend, hackathons, conferences, and more. And next year, our goal will be to reinforce the link between our community and the professional world and help students build startups better. So we are looking for partnership to help us. And if you want to help students become great entrepreneurs, don't hesitate to contact us at hello@geniusglobal.fr.
Julie Leroy, the Vice President of Global Genius, thank you very much indeed for that.
Thank you, Julia. See you soon.
And it's time to turn to our in-house expert, Dan and Jay Kattlecar. Hello, Dan.
Hi, Julia.
So in the beginning of this crisis, a lot of people actually turned to big tech, thinking that they would step up their game to try to find out solutions to the crisis, but they were actually very inactive and they've been criticized for not doing enough.
Among the critics of the big tech companies' role during this crisis is Sébastien Bazin, the CEO of the Accor Group. He was quoted as saying that the 5 big tech companies in whom we had entrusted our future over the past 5 years were strangely absent, and that the public will count the points and look at who was present and absent during this crisis. Interestingly, this crisis has also renewed the debate about the taxation of these big tech giants, especially in Europe.
Now, Dan, it really seems like Europe is trying to find its way back on the tech map. This as the United States and China are really intensifying the war to see who will dominate future technologies.
The European Union has launched an ambitious initiative in order to lower its dependence on both the US and China for the latest technologies. The EU will be investing 9.2 billion euros in several key technologies from 2021 to 2027. This includes supercomputing that will see an investment of 2.5 billion euros, artificial intelligence that will also see an investment of 2.5 billion euros, and cybersecurity that will get an investment of 2 billion euros. Now, as far as the trade war between the US and China is concerned, the United States recently sanctioned 33 new Chinese entities, some of which include technological companies.
Dan and Jay Kattlecar, thank you very much indeed for that. We'll actually be back to you in just a few seconds for Test 24. This week in this segment, we're about to tell you how MIT researchers have been able to track the thickness of a droplet's rim as it splashes on several surfaces. And as Dan is about to explain, this is very important for epidemiologists because it's set to give insight into the physics of sneezing.
This research was conducted in 2018 and it relates to the size, number, and speed of smaller droplets that are ejected at the rim, which is formed due to a primary splashing droplet. Now, the lead author of this study, Lydia Bureiba of MIT, who is a fluid dynamics expert, wrote a paper in March 2020 in the Journal of the American Medical Association, in which she mentioned that the respiratory exhalations such as coughing and sneezing produce not only short-range droplets of mucus and saliva, but also a turbulent gas cloud that is able to carry these droplets to longer distances and extend their lifetime due to humidity and temperature. Buroiba and her team have been using high-speed cameras to film the trajectory of these droplets that can travel as far as 27 feet. A recent study that was published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences points out that loud talking can result in the release of thousands of small salivary droplets that can stay in the air for at least 8 minutes. Though this study was not SARS-CoV-2 specific, it is a pointer to the transmission risk posed by loud speech, especially in closed environs such as public transport services and hospitals. Now, one key implication of all these studies is that there is a need to wear a mask when one steps out of the house. Plans are afoot all over the world to develop efficient masks against pathogens. One such project is happening here in France, and it is called Telemask. Commissioned by the French National Research Agency, it is expected to be completed in the next 18 months. This mask involves the use of nanometer-size fibers, which also have antimicrobial properties. Professor Bernard Martel of the University of Lille is the project leader. This is what he had to say.
In contrast to the traditional textiles that present a well-defined geometric structure, electrospinning technology, which is booming, will form networks of filaments tangled in a disorderly manner. These filaments are nanometric in size. This allows it to filter particles 100 to 1,000 times smaller than classic textiles, which are woven, non-woven, or knitted.
Following the outbreak of COVID-19, a startup in France has witnessed a spike in demand for its masks. Called AirPure Nano, this is an anti-pollution mask for cyclists, but it also meets the FFP3 standard, which means it is able to filter out particles bigger than 50 nanometers. This also includes pathogens such as bacteria and viruses. The other interesting feature of this mask is that it has an airtight fitting on the face, which adds to its efficiency. It has a changeable filter and a dedicated application that tells you when to change this filter.
Thank you, Dhananjay Khatalkar there. That actually brings us to the end of this week's edition of Tech 24. We hope you enjoyed it, and you can watch it again on our website, france24.com. See you soon.